Hello again, my friends, and welcome to milestone number 2. We're going to be talking about forgiveness. You guys already know how important forgiveness is to our journey to becoming like Jesus. So we want to help our participants, our mentees, to be fully free through Christ Jesus. And part of that we know is to forgive, whether it's forgiving ourselves or forgiving someone else. But we all know that forgiving can be really hard. And so we want to lay a perspective on that so that we can all be on the same page as we mentor and work with our participants to get fully free. Forgiveness can be really difficult, but we know it's a key to freedom. It's a key hurdle in our progress. And so much damage is done when we don't forgive. You know, many people have been hurt when they were children or even as adults, and they just can't get over it, and it impacts their entire life. And it can cling to you even for generations. Your family can be impacted by those decisions to forgive or not forgive. So we want to release it. We want to give it away. And one of my favorite scriptures around this is John 20:23. And in it, Jesus says, if you forgive anyone's sins, their sins are forgiven. If you don't forgive them, they are not forgiven. What that says is if we don't forgive them, they are retained, they are held on to. We hold on to them. It could affect our health. It can affect our emotions. We can try to cope with it through addictions and other means. But if we release it, we let it go. And it doesn't mean that what that person or even what we did to somebody was right or okay. It just means, you know what, I'm not going to let it hold me back any longer. I'm going to break that chain. I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to forgive that person who hurt me so that I could move forward to be everything God created me to be. So what you forgive, you release. What you don't forgive, you retain or hold on to. Key principle in this. Forgiveness does not mean approval. What the other person did wasn't right, but we are going to forgive because God says to forgive, and it's a principle that it releases. They may also need to forgive themselves over something that they may have done, some way they may have hurt themselves or others. And sometimes forgiving ourselves can be really tough, but they got to let that go. And you know, it's up to them on whether or not they go out and seek forgiveness from others. I think the key is the release and letting it go and forgiving. And a lot of times you could do more damage by reaching out and that kind of thing. But if they feel like impressed upon to make amends, I know when I first got saved and I made my list, I started calling a lot of the people that I had hurt and just asking for forgiveness. And, you know, a lot of them said, you know, I let that go a long time ago and that, you know, that kind of thing. But that's really up to them. But I think the key is for their personal well-being, for them to release it and let it go. The forgiveness letter is simply writing a letter to themselves, but it could be addressed to the person or persons that they may have hurt, forgiving them or forgiving themselves for what they did. It can also be as long as is needed to get it out. So some person might have just a little paragraph, another person might have 3 pages. We're not going to monitor the amount. The key is that you're fully free and letting it go. You don't need to mail it to anybody. It could be between just the mentee and the mentor. You're going to build trust over time with these people. And so it's going to allow them to be able to open up to you and share and feel the release of all this. But it's just so important to get it off your chest, to let it go, to forgive. And that's just a key to freedom. So once again, I appreciate you. That is milestone number 2, is for us to forgive. And we appreciate you and love you and look forward to moving forward to milestone number 3.